Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you the differences between horizontal landscapes and vertical landscapes. If you're on any social media like Instagram or 500px or even Facebook, you know that these vertical landscapes are growing in popularity, and there's a good reason why. Today I'll be showing you guys why that I mostly shoot vertical landscapes, although I feel like there are certain scenarios where horizontal landscapes definitely fit better. But I feel like the vertical landscapes creates a lot more depth, and it's able to show your foreground, midground, and background a lot more clearer. So you can see this image that I took in Joshua Tree here. You can see that I have a clear foreground over here. I have a midground, which are these rocks, and I have the sky, which is my background. If I were to use a horizontal landscape, I probably wouldn't have got the foreground and only have shot the midground. So maybe it'll be something like this. As you can see, it's still a pretty nice image, but it doesn't show the whole depth. It doesn't show the whole mood of this image. You can see that there's a lot of dark rocks here, right? This is the stuff that I want. So another image I took in Joshua Tree is this one. I thought about doing this horizontally at first, but there was nothing interesting on the sides. And when I shot this, the rocks in the back looked way too small if I used a horizontal landscape. So I opted for a vertical landscape, and I was able to show the foreground as the bark, the midground as the Joshua trees and the plains, and the background I have the rocks and eventually the sky. All right, another photo that I took. This one was in Redwood National Park, I believe. And I had to get down really low for this. So I had to focus stack like, I think 9 or 10 images in order to get all the clovers sharp. And this one really shows depth, right? Clovers don't look this big in real life. But since I was using a wide angle lens and I was focus stacking, I'm able to show the depth, right? You can see the transition where the clovers appear big because the forest in the back looks small. So you can see the foreground is pretty clear in this one. It's the clovers, and then we have the midground barks, and then we have the trees in the back. So it shows a lot of depth. It shows a lot of scaling, right? So this is something that vertical landscapes are really good at doing. So last example I want to go over for vertical are road shots. I think vertical shots are great for road shots because you can see this yellow line. It looks huge, right? But in the background, the mountain looks very far away. You can see perspective. You can see that this mountain is indeed very far away. All right, so there are a couple situations that I would not use this technique for. There's always room for traditional landscapes, such as this image right here. So this is a Milky Way that I took in Smith Rock. The Milky Way is very horizontal, so if I used a vertical, I wouldn't be able to get these rocks on the sides. And I think the rocks on the sides really close the image. You can see that there's a leading line in the river, and the rocks kind of close in the Milky Way, right? If I were to do a vertical, there's a lot of distracting subjects, but the rocks on the side close the viewer's eyes towards the Milky Way. Same thing with this shot right here. If I did a vertical, it would look incomplete. There would not be that vignette. There would not be that enclosing feeling towards the light source up here. So we can take a look and see what happens if I crop this actually. So let me hit crop. Let me narrow in the sides to make it vertical, just to demonstrate how it would look if it was a vertical image. So it would look something like this. And you can see that it loses a lot of contrast. It loses a lot of the moods because of the sides. I think this rock right here adds so much to the mood because it fades towards the darkness. But if you crop it out, then there's like no contrast. There's nothing really directing the eye. It looks way too busy. There's way too many bright parts. It doesn't look terrible, but I feel like it's just really incomplete, and the bark just doesn't look satisfying, right? it looks like it's cut out. Okay, so I also took a picture of the same waterfall, but from a different perspective. This one I wanted to do vertical because I had a distinct foreground that I had planned, and everything looks a lot more distant. So you can see in this photo that there's a clear foreground, right? Midground and background. But the difference between this one and the other one is that you can see the whole image. You can see all the darkness. You can see the whole mood. The whole log is there as well. So vertical for this one would be a lot better. But for this photo, horizontal would be a lot better. All right, that wraps up our video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.